Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. I'm Chris Witt. With me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today?
Couldn't be better, man. It's beautiful outside. It's a little chilly today, but it's weather's nice right now. We're in the fall season, and I love that. It's long sleeve T-shirt slash
Yes.
hooded sweatshirt weather.
Adam is a long sleeve T-shirt wearing son of a gun.
I sure am.
He's the weird guy that is out sweating, while all us 90-year-old men are sweating on a basketball court in like a cut-off T-shirt. He's not sweating at all, playing harder than everybody in a long sleeve shirt. It's ridiculous, and that's not a lie. That happens.
I've only played indoors with a long sleeve shirt like a couple times.
Oh, they must have both been with me.
Yeah, I think it was.
This was real fun to make fun of you. That's for sure. Anyway, so we got a small show today. I don't want to say a small show, just not a lot of stuff we're going over. We want to go over the Bengals. We're going to bring our Bengals insider Andre Edwards at Andre Edwards 06. Is it 06?
Mm-hmm.
At Andre Edwards 06 on Twitter. LockedOnBengals.com writer, and we wanted to bring him on, but I think we're going to wait until the bye week because there's really not a lot to talk about with the Bengals. They just suck.
There's not a lot to talk about really, like on field wise.
No.
Like X's and O's. You're not talking about that because they're 0-6, and we're going to be talking about possible trades and next year and the draft and that kind of stuff. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So today, we have the World Series coming up here soon. The Nationals locked up their spot in the World Series with a sweep against the Cardinals.
Very surprised by that.
Yeah, the Nationals look really good right now. Pitching has been phenomenal. Their hitting is fun. They're doing it all. They look almost as good as the Astros. And the Astros are the best team in baseball. There's a reason they are the best team in baseball. Pitching, it wins in the postseason. They're up 2-1 on the Yankees, and give credit to the Yankees. They won over 100 games as well. But man, they got to go up against the Astros. I don't know. I don't see anybody beating the Astros. But we're not going to get too deep into that. We're going to wait till the World Series hits. We'll talk some more about that next week. But this week, to start off, let's hear about some people that support us.
People that support us that we want to support back include Training Personally. Training Personally with Peggy Edwards. If you, no matter your level of fitness, if you need a challenge, you're ready to work out, it's easy to get lazy in the winter months when it gets cold and you stay inside and you eat. That's what I do. Don't do that. You got to get to a gym, an inside gym. It's too cold to go running outside and all that business. So you want to go to 3634 Boudneau Avenue, Training Personally with Peggy Edwards. If you need that challenge, get in there. You get the benefit of working out with a personal trainer, but you don't have to pay the cost, the enormous cost of a personal trainer. Training Personally with Peggy Edwards will satisfy that need. It's interval training for all levels, whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced fitness person.
Fitness person.
But it's at your pace, on your time. Now they're timed. It's timed round, so it's interval. It's circuit training. But everything it can be modified, and you kind of work out kind of at your own speed and at your own pace. And Peggy Edwards will be right there with you to guide you along and give you pointers and make sure you're eating right. Make sure you're mentally and spiritually healthy as well as physically. So go in there right now, and Peggy Edwards will give you mention this podcast, mention the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. Peggy Edwards will give you your first month of membership for free.
That's pretty special.
That is special.
That's pretty special.
You're saving a ton of money there.
Saving a ton of money. Personal trainer and everything that she does, 1 month on the house.
On the house. You can go there. She's only not open 2 days, so she's open 5 days a week. You can go there 5 days a week for a month and work out, get an incredible workout. If you go there that often, you will transform yourself.
She's not there on Sundays.
Not there on Sundays, not there on Fridays.
Not there on Fridays.
But she's there in the morning and in the evening. So whether you need to get in there early before work, whether you want to go after work, whatever you want to do, she's going to be there.
Check it out. Also, we are about to do our NFL picks, our locks of the week. And this week, the locks of the week are brought to you by the Ohio Mosquito Control, ohio-mc.com. At Ohio Mosquito Control, they offer quality services to the Cincinnati area at reasonable prices. They are family-owned and operated, professional mosquito control service. That's just a phone call away. Get a hold of them. They will customize your personal program to take care of your house, your backyard living. Kill those mosquitoes. Get rid of them. Not kill the good bugs. Kill the bad bugs. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna get rid of the mosquitoes. No more bites. They'll do a one-time spray. They'll do multiple sprays. They'll set you up. They'll do commercial applications. All kinds of things. Check them out. ohio-mc.com. They're phenomenal. My kids. No bites. Speaking of no bites, Adam, how did we do this week in our lock pick'ems, whatever they are? I was 3-0 last week.
Last week you were 3-0.
I see the smile on your face. I am 0-3 this week.
Collectively, we did very poorly this week.
Collectively, we're bad. That's good though. That means I keep my lead though.
That's correct.
Okay,
that is correct.
All right, let's hear it. How do we do?
So I went 1-2 this week, and you went 0-3.
Big offer, huh? Threw up a bagel. That's all right.
So, but on the year, that brings me to 8-10, and you 10-8. So even after an 0-3,
it's getting close.
Yeah, you still have a couple game lead though.
Whoever loses at the end of the year, at this moment in time, will have to eat. What was it? We have to eat 4, or how many do we have to eat?
I think we said 1.
1. I thought we had to eat like.
Maybe
4
I'm just saying 1 because I'm losing.
1. Yeah, of the stupid hot wings from local wing joint here on the west side of Cincinnati, Wild Mike's. So we will be. Somebody's gonna have to eat them. Right now, I'm up a couple games. That's it. It's close. We got a long season to go.
And let me add that last week we had our guest in the studio, Steve Snodgrass.
Steve Snodgrass, how did he do?
He went 2-1.
2-1. Good work.
He whooped us both.
Good work. We should, from now on, every time we have a guest on, we'll have them pick, and we'll see how they do for the year.
So Steve is retiring with a .667 winning percentage.
Good work on him.
Which is pretty darn good.
Yeah, he made a little bit of money last week.
Yeah. So anyway, for this week, week 7. We've got. I'll let you.
So the way that we do this is we go on to the we record Wednesdays. The Nosebleed Sports Podcast comes to you live on Facebook every Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. It's on all the other podcast platforms. First thing in the morning, Thursday morning, you can catch us everywhere else. So. Remember that when we're making these picks, these are Wednesday picks on the Wednesday spread, so the spreads could be a little off, and we just jump on the ESPN app, take a look at what the spreads are, and go from there. With that being said, Adam, what do you got this week?
Okay, I've got first off, Kansas City is a 3-point favorite in Denver.
Okay,
and I'm taking Kansas City. I'm taking Kansas City with those 3 points. They're going to win by more than 3 points. Miami, this was kind of a crazy one. I'm not sure how I feel about this one, but I'm going to go for it. Miami is a 17-point underdog at Buffalo.
Wow.
17's a huge spread, right?
17's a big number. Buffalo 4-1, been playing some good football.
And Miami might be the only team worse than the Bengals.
I mean that's yet to be seen till the end of the year, but
that'll be the Tua Bowl, right?
Yep.
So
is it Tua or I mean is it I mean there's a few quarterbacks out there. I mean Jalen Hurts is looking good. You got Tua, the kid from Clemson, obviously, that may be the more pure passer. I don't know.
I think he's got another year though. I think he's got to come back next year. I want to say because I think he was a true freshman last year. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
I might be wrong about that.
I thought you had to play 2 years.
I thought you had to play 3. No.
I think you only got to play 2 years.
Okay.
In football.
So Trevor Lawrence, I would say he's definitely one of the guys you got to take a look at. And I'm definitely interested to hear because that we'll be asking in a couple weeks. We will be asking Andre his opinion on that because the Bengals are going to be in that position to make a decision like that. But for now, Miami is another defeated team. We'll say not
I like that.
not undefeated, but all defeated. I don't know.
Yeah.
17-point underdog. I'm taking them to lose by less than 17.
I gotcha.
Certainly not win, but they'll cover that in Buffalo, I think. And then I'm taking Green Bay, who was a 4.5-point favorite at home versus Oakland. And I'm going to take them. I think Green Bay wins by at least a touchdown in that game. So I've got Kansas City, Miami, and Green Bay with their spreads there. And while you fix our Facebook Live situation, because Joe Leonard to the rescue again for us.
It started working out. I mean,
It's looking good. All right. Well,
so it says it's on, so we'll keep it going there. But now I'm going to do my picks. So my picks for the week.
Off the top of your head.
Let's take a look and see who's playing.
This is my favorite part because I'm amazed that you can just do this while this is the first time you're looking at it.
So you're taking a Thursday game. Didn't you say you were taking Kansas City? Oh, big game tomorrow, so that's a good one.
Yep.
Let's see. So definitely not doing anything with the 0-6 versus 2-4 Bengals versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's no chance I'm touching that. And my Atlanta Falcons have been killing me all year. They did it again last week. I'm taking the Los Angeles Rams -3 in Atlanta. And if Atlanta covers this spread, I am going to I will never take another game in Georgia. I will never bet another game where there's a Georgia team playing.
Okay. So all of Georgia teams have to suffer.
Georgia teams have to suffer because of Atlanta.
So the Braves, the Georgia Bulldogs, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
The Georgia's little sisters of the blind are in trouble now. At least they're not getting. I'm not putting money on them.
They're going to win the NGBACC tournament.
No, CB, not CB.
Okay.
Anyway, so then we're going to go on here to, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm really liking the San Francisco Giants. 9.5-point favorite in Washington.
Wait, I'm confused. Is it the San Francisco? What did I
say? The San Francisco Giants? San Francisco Giants have now decided to start playing football.
San Francisco football Giants?
Yeah, the San Francisco football Giants. I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not taking them. I'm taking the Redskins plus 9.5. That's my home dog for the week. I think I'd have no issues at all. I think San Francisco wins that game, obviously. But 9.5, I'll take the points. At home in Washington. And then to end this thing, let's do... how about a battle of 2 and 4 teams? The Chargers versus the Titans. No, I don't like that. Instead, I'm going to go with New Orleans in Chicago +3. I'm going to take the Saints +3 in Chicago.
I like it. You know I've been on the Saints.
I know.
This year.
So there we go.
Okay.
So those are our locks of the week. Before I would say use us, bet everything I say because I was kicking butt. Now I'm just went 0-3, so probably not a good idea to do anything we say. However, speaking of the NFL, we got a lot of people, a lot of issues with the referees this year. Officiating has definitely been the focal point, I would say, of the season, right?
Yeah. Yep.
They brought in the ability to challenge pass interference. And I still believe nobody understands exactly what they are or aren't challenging. If there's a pass interference call on the field, you might as well not throw the flag.
Correct.
There's no reason to, because if there's just a single touch of any kind before the ball gets there, they're going to hold it up. They're going to hold that up. That's what it seems like to me from what I've seen.
Yes.
However, the throwing the flag for people that you believe were pass interfered with hasn't been going as great either. The NFL it just seems like, for being the biggest sports organization in the United States, it's almost like they have all this technology and they just don't use it correctly to me. Does that seem right? I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, because you're right. It doesn't make sense after the season. But coaches are 1-20 in their last 21 attempts to to challenge pass interference calls. There's like basically a mandate from the league that came down and said, don't overturn
Yeah.
don't overturn challenges for pass interference.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense that you're
I think
using
right.
replay, but you're not using it.
Right. So that because of the rule, it's hard to overturn something that was called on the field for pass interference. There's obviously some touching, there's some contact before the ball gets there. That they put that rule into place this year, obviously because of what happened to the Saints last year, where the guy was obviously there was pass interference and there was no flag. I think that is where they wanted to emphasize this part of the rule, and now you got people running downfield and just throwing flags and it's not working. So here's my thing. Tell me what you think about this, because in tennis, you never hear people arguing in tennis because it's like this weird robot cartoon that comes on and tells you where the ball's at, and it's like, okay, well, in or out, ball's in or out, it is what it is. We watch the cartoon screen. I don't know how they have a cartoon thing that works like that, but it does. And people are okay with it. So they have the technology to show exactly if it's on the line, boom, it's in. If it's not, it's not. Mm-hmm. Baseball's got a guy in New York. The people on the field have nothing to do with the call. They got a guy in New York that just calls them and goes, nope, you got it wrong. Yep, you got it right. You're good to go. They got the sky cam. They got all this stuff in the NFL, and it takes them forever to look at these challenges. Now, I know they got to look for spot of the ball and time on the clock and all that stuff that nobody else has to do. But it just seems like this should be something, if they've got these people in the NFL front office somewhere watching these games, or other officials in a booth somewhere, just like Major League Baseball does, call them up, boom, put the ball on this yard line, it's this much time's left, and got the call right or wrong is what it is. I don't understand why it's that difficult. They've got cameras literally everywhere. Why is this so difficult?
I don't know, and that's where they did talk about before the season started. The competition committee was talking about the possible sky judge that they call it, where basically a referee that's in the press box that can see everything and has access to replay constantly throughout the game, about using something like that, and which basically would be kind of basically the same thing as like you said, baseball uses, somebody's, whether they're in New York or at the game, actually in the press box. But that is still one person that is making that call or whatever, and that's the problem is it depends on how each person interprets the rule in some cases. Like there are really obvious ones, and that's what this was supposed to be about. That's why they implemented this new rule that you could challenge pass interference calls, because of the NFC Championship game last year. And that is why the ones that are really obvious, that's what it's supposed to help with.
Exactly.
But I feel like it can always open Pandora's box, where you can always say, a team that is being that is losing the opportunity to make a play or whatever because of a pass interference that's not being called or whatever, is always going to say, that was an obvious one, right? Same in basketball. That's an obvious foul. How did you not call that? Well, it's only obvious to you because it happened to you.
Exactly.
Everybody else has their own interpretation, right? So I think that's part of the problem too, and that's honestly part of the problem with officiating in every sport. Is there are different interpretations of the rules depending on who is looking at it, who it happens to, who commits the foul, who doesn't, who commits the pass interference, who does the hands to the face or whatever, the big call from this weekend. Rule interpretation is so tough, makes it tough because everybody interprets the rules, and that's why I think everybody gets away with traveling now, because players got smart enough,
right,
and manipulated how the rule is read. And basically gave themselves an extra step or two and said, yeah, but if you read the rule this way, that means technically I have the gather and then two step. So there is, I think, interpretation is a big part of it, and I don't know how you fix it really.
I don't know either. But the other thing to this officiating problem isn't just the fact that calls being overturned and things like that. I was watching the Jets Dallas game, Okay, the end of that game, Dallas was driving to score at the end of the game. Okay, they're down by 8, coming down, end of the game, and the Jets, who were winning, and that's already a miracle in itself.
Right.
It was like 5 straight plays, under 2 minutes left on the clock, 5 straight defensive penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, some of them are like what you barely even know what. There was pass interference calls, and you can't, like I said, you can't challenge one of those. You know that you can't challenge it, but they were, oh boy, should have never been called. Lots of different things, hands to the face, all that stuff. Dallas ends up coming down and scoring because there's 5 penalties in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 45 yards in penalties in 2 minutes, in less than 2 minutes. And they score. Now, they didn't hit the 2-point conversion. However, that very well could have lost the game for the Jets, and it's happening all over the place. Almost every kickoff there's a flag. It's like they can't let these guys play. These guys are so big and strong and athletic, and the finesse, you just got to let them play at some point in time, right?
Well, I don't know, because and that's what I've been hearing from people is there are too many calls. There are too many calls now, and it's making the game tough to watch. And I get that, but at the same time, to me, if violations are being made, it's up to the players. The officials are supposed to be maintaining the rules, are supposed to be making calls to make sure everybody's playing within the rules. And if it ends up being that you have 45 yards in penalties in 2 minutes at the end of the game, I think it's up to coaches and players to kind of look in the mirror and pull the thumb here and say, okay, this is a discipline issue. This is something that we need to. Now, you can go back and, if there was a call made and it's something you can challenge, go ahead and challenge it. Unfortunately, pass interference, there's a weird thing going on like we just talked about where if you challenge pass interference, you're probably not going to get it overturned.
Right.
But, but I think I think it's really up to players and coaches to say, you know what, we have to adjust. They're calling the game so that everybody plays within the rules technically if they make the correct calls, which I know is a problem, but it's up to us to adjust to that. I mean, everybody's always looking for a little advantage, always
easy.
Looking to how much they can stretch the rule to get an advantage. And I understand that, but that's what, there has to be lines drawn, and that's why you have officials on the field in every sport.
So you're all for calling holding on every play if somebody's holding.
If the referee sees holding, he should call it every play. And then because you're supposed to be able to play and be good without holding. That's your job. The same thing with that. You're not a good defender if you don't stop your player without fouling them. You can't foul them. You didn't get a stop. You fouled them.
Right.
So and I just think it's really up to.
It's just when something has gone this long with allowing people to get away with certain things or letting the rules slowly what did you call it, expand into this and expand into that and stretch the rules, slowly stretch the rules in different ways. How do you all of a sudden you just start throwing flags on every play? I mean, I feel like there's got to be a little bit of a let's bring it back slowly kind of a thing, right? Now, not, okay, cold turkey, boom, now all of a sudden I'm throwing literally the first drive of I can't remember which game it was. It was the first game of on Channel 12. It was like the first drive, whatever game that was. There was 4 penalties. The first 4 plays had a flag. Come on. This is ridiculous.
Are you saying come on to the officials, or are you saying come on to the guys that committed those penalties?
I'd have to go back and look at the penalty and see exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand what you're saying. You're saying, well, hey, don't be mad at the refs. They're just doing their job, right?
And it's your job to play within the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
You make it sound so simple.
It's very complicated. It really is. It's
It is.
very, very complicated, and I don't know that there's a more difficult job on the planet, at least in sports,
than NFL
being
referee.
any sport. Yeah.
Any sport, any professional sport, basketball and football, without a doubt, are
Definitely.
the most difficult.
Yes.
The bang bang play at first. They teach you ways to listen for sounds to know how to judge that. So it's a little easier. That's probably the most difficult call in baseball, and they teach you ways to listen for that. So probably not nearly as hard as being an official in an NBA or a NFL game. I don't know. It is something that is just dragging on, and it's becoming. It's like you said, it's taking away from the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you either let these guys start getting away with more stuff, or you go back to how it was and you just let them play a little bit more. Maybe what incidental contacts and hands to the face and all that. Some of that is in holding. I mean, it literally, both guys hold each other when they meet each other at the line. They're both 6'4", 6'5", 400-pound men coming at speeds that me and you can't even run at, and colliding with each other, trying to get past one another. And I mean, come on, that's bigger, faster, stronger makes rules bigger, faster, and harder to judge.
Harder to judge. There's a lot of gray area and all that stuff, and there's a lot of there's a very blurry line for what is a hold and what is any penalty that you can imagine. It is very difficult to call and very difficult to be consistent. And you either, if you're going to be consistent, you got to call it all the time, or you got to never call it, and either way you're going to be wrong. Right?
Exactly.
So it's really kind of unfair, but it's something that even Roger Goodell said in the last day or two, that they have a problem. He recognizes officiating is a problem. It's been bad, and I was kind of wondering if officiating isn't that much worse. We're just talking about it a lot more because of social media and stuff. Everybody's complaining about it all the time now, and everybody's seeing all these other complaints and kind of jumping on the wagon there, and like, oh yeah, officiating's really bad. So it's easy to kind of form a band and say, I'm with all these other people. Obviously, everybody's complaining about it, so there must be a problem.
Yeah.
Or is it really, is it just that many more people talking about it, or is it really, really a problem?
So, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I kind of thought that it's probably more that social media and just media in general are just making a bigger deal about it. When people want to make a big deal about something, it's going to be big news. But the more I read about it the last couple of days, and the more I saw on TV and on the internet, it seems like just about everybody is agreeing that there is some kind of issue. I don't know why it's well, I do know why it's worse. We just talked about why it's worse, because it's just harder. It's just hard to do that, and they every year they're changing and tweaking the rules, and that's part of the problem too. I mean, they're trying to do stuff like that much that it affects the way that these guys who are trying to call the game. There's no consistency year to year. Yeah, and that's a big problem, and they're making these changes to try to improve the product, right? Sure. And try to make it easier on these guys. But in changing it so much, it's actually making it harder in some cases. Yeah. So I don't know. It's I don't have an answer about how to make it better or anything like that. They just have to really, really train like crazy and continue to try to make the product better. It's just officiating and the game both together. And I don't know. It's just something you got to keep working on, I guess. So that's your answer. Just got to keep working on it. Just got to keep trying to get better. Keep trying to get better. I heard another guy saying you see a lot of these older refs retiring and getting out, and there's a lot of new guys, and that could be a big issue too. I think the newer guys should be the ones that have this thing down a little bit better. You don't have the old eyes. You don't have the old. I say old eyes. I mean the eyes of watching the game from years and years of letting them play more. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's starting to get on my nerves. It makes the Bengals alone make it hard to watch football, right? They make it hard in Cincinnati to watch football, and then the other games you do watch, it's just it's like the guy just yellow flag after yellow flag, yellow laundry, whatever you want to call it. It's just flag after flag after flag. It's hard to watch. Maybe I'm disgruntled more because the Bengals are so bad, but it's hard to watch. It is. It is hard to watch. That's why I don't watch a whole lot of NFL
What did
anymore.
I say the Bengals were going to go this year? What did I say?
Was
the
it
record
11-5?
was gonna be? 11-5. So
I think it was 11-5. How do you feel about that so far?
officially. I'm officially out of that, huh?
Look, they could still go 10-6,
100%. I agree with that. They could. Oh,
and they probably will,
they
right?
probably will. I mean, I'm not saying probably. They have one more loss. They're going to lose to the Patriots at the end of the year. I definitely have that. That's a loss at the end of the year.
So they're going 9-7 then.
But they will, yeah. But they will. You got the Browns twice, and you got the Dolphins once. So that's 3 wins right there.
Yeah.
Yep. And then whoever they got in between. The Bengals are terrible.
They have
They may
Pittsburgh again, and they have Baltimore again, right?
Yeah, play Pittsburgh and a 5th-string quarterback.
Yeah. Okay.
They'll lose to him too. It's terrible. Adam, I got something I want to throw at you.
Throw it at me.
So, do you remember when we? It's been a couple weeks ago, I think, and we were having one of the random conversations we usually have on the podcast. Okay, just a random conversation. Started to talk. I think I started getting a little old man on the lawn because I like the chat snap. Right? We've talked about this. Me and the chat snap have some fun. I like the rundown on there. The rundown, the MTV tattoo thing. That's hilarious.
Okay.
Why would you let somebody tattoo something crazy on your body? Ridiculous.
Never seen that.
Check it out. That's a good one. And obviously SportsCenter's on there, and Barstool Sports does really funny videos on their chat snap. So we talked about it, and we said, and I said, I got people on there that are friends. I love seeing everything that you do. I love it. I'm good with that. But if you're taking a video, I don't want to see the entire concert. I don't care about the whole concert. If I got to click 25 times, I don't want to see that, okay?
Yeah.
And I believe what we came up with was when you're doing a video, 2 snaps long. That's the limit, right? Adam, you had a 3-snap blink. You had a 3-snap chat snap on blink this weekend.
Yes, you're right. I did.
And you know what I had to stare at for, how long is that, 30 seconds or whatever it is? I had to stare at lights on a building. Lights being shined on the Red Stadium.
So I went down there, and I don't know if you could tell on Snapchat, but that was the only thing from the entire.
I got to be honest with you. It was definitely the coolest thing. We went down.
Okay.
And when you got 3 kids that are under, you have a 6-year-old and 2 3-year-olds in a stroller trying to push those kids. It was horrible. We couldn't find anything that looked even remotely cool. It would just look like lights on buildings. And I'm not gonna lie to you, did nothing for me. Did nothing for my kids either, which made it even worse. Mm-hmm. That one on the Red Stadium would have been cool, but I couldn't get to the Red Stadium because we parked underneath where the Freedom Center is, and to get across that street over there was 6 billion people, and I would have lost a child. So I wasn't taking that chance. Instead we almost lost a child on Fountain Square, where everyone was at. Everyone's on Fountain Square, and that was like the worst light part, the worst show of any of them. You could hardly see what was on the building. That blink thing, I mean, more power to them. Find stuff to get people downtown. That's cool. Get people around each other. I'm super stressed out and anxious when there's huge crowds. But, dude, three snaps. You did, it was 3 in a row. 3 in a row. I was going to say something to you that day, but I said I'm waiting till the podcast because I need to know.
Thank you for calling me out on that. You're right. I violated that. I violated that rule.
It was a Nosebleed Sports Podcast chat snap rule.
Mm-hmm. And you reviewed it, and it's been overturned. And by overturned, I don't know what I mean by that because I can't delete it now because it's already gone. But you know what's funny is,
what's that?
So I went down there. I was thinking about it all week. Do I want to go down? Yeah, I kind of want to see it because a couple years ago I did not go down, but everybody posted stuff on Snapchat, on Instagram, on everything, and it looked pretty cool. It looked like it would be a really cool thing. And so I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna go down. I asked a couple people throughout the week, hey, what are you doing? You want to go to this thing? Everybody had stuff going on, and so Saturday came. I'm like, Saturday was gonna be the only day I could get down there. So I'm like, man, do I want to go? And do I might go down by myself. I'm kind of trying to get used to trying to make myself do stuff by myself.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And just the thing.
You just decided you're going to be that weird guy who just walks around
I
downtown
guess
by
it's
themselves.
kind of weird, and it's funny because I ran into some
I
people
do it all the time. So
I ran into some people. Yeah, I think we talked about this like a year ago or maybe more. But yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit more comfortable with that, trying to just make myself do things like that, but just on my own. But so I did. I ran into like a bunch of people, a group of like 5 people that I knew, and they were all down there together, and they saw me, and they were like, "Oh, what are you? You're not down here by yourself, are you? Who are you meeting? Who are you meeting down here?" And I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go." I'm like, I just decided to come on down by myself and check it out, and just kind of a last minute deal, and even though I thought about it for a week, but anyway, so anyway, yeah, a little embarrassing, but that's okay. I actually enjoyed it. Sometimes I feel like things like that can be more enjoyable by yourself because there's no
and you have your own. You're on your own time.
You're on your own time.
I agree
you
with
do
that.
anything you want to do at any time. Like you see whatever you want to see. There's no.
That's your life.
It is my life, and I'm kind of. It's kind of the way I prefer it. I don't know, but I don't within reason. But anyway, we could talk for hours about that. But anyway. So
what happened with these people that you met up? Did you end up staying with them and hanging out with them the rest of the time?
No. This was an ex-girlfriend's family, but
that definitely didn't happen.
So anyway, yeah, no, I love those people though; they're great people. But
Yeah.
I just it was great seeing them, but it was it was a little embarrassing and a little awkward. And then I'm so bad at thinking when I see somebody out in public that I wasn't expecting to see, I freeze up and my brain doesn't work, and I'm like, okay, don't sound like an idiot or think of something good to say and all that kind of stuff, and then I freak out. So anyway, that happened
awesome.
for about 5 minutes.
That's the opposite of me. Like when I randomly see somebody sporadically that I get so excited to go over and talk to that person. Like holy cow. Who would have thought that we would have saw each other here? How awesome is that? I love that. I love that not more than anything. I probably said that too much, but I love that a lot.
I probably saw maybe 12 people I knew down there.
Yeah, there you go.
And but those were the only people I stopped and talked to, though. Because some of the other people I saw kind of from a distance, and there were so many people down there
that
I wasn't
the other
gonna.
way.
No, I didn't walk the other way, but I.
They walked the other
I might have
way.
walked.
You didn't
I
walk
might have walked
towards
the
them.
other way maybe once or twice, but no. I wasn't gonna run to catch up to anybody or yell across the street or anything like that. But anyway, what's funny is you said that Blink was disappointing. Basically, I kind of thought the same thing, and almost everybody I spoke to who went down said the same thing.
Yeah,
it's a cool concept, and I didn't. First of all, I didn't see everything because I saw people post things on Snapchat and whatever. That were I was like, it looks kind of cool, and I didn't see those things down there, but I did see a couple things that I thought were pretty neat. The one in front of the Reds building, which is how this whole thing came up.
I'm going to tell you right now, that was the coolest one that I saw. Of course, I didn't see much. So
yeah, and I agree.
It was spread out too far.
It was.
I mean, it's probably good for the amount of people that were there.
Yeah.
But man, I ain't got time to go around searching for some lights on a building.
So the Roebling Bridge was like the big thing this year. They extended this thing across the bridge and into Covington. Good idea, great. It was so crowded Saturday night, they closed down for at least part of the time. They closed down the bridge.
That bridge wasn't necessarily made for a lot of traffic, so yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't made really at all for foot traffic.
No, it wasn't.
But there was a lot of foot traffic on it, and there were too many people on it. They closed it down because
Saturday we took family pictures downtown, 6:00. Great, perfect scheduling time. So anyway, they had the bridge closed for, I don't know, just for a little bit of time. I don't know why it was closed, but we got pictures right like in the middle of the Roebling Bridge. It was pretty cool while it was closed. And then it closed again later. That they opened it up right when we walked off, cars are coming, and then they closed it again later that night.
Wow. Yeah, apparently there were like, I might mess this number up, but I think I heard maybe like 4.5 million people down there over the weekend. Something
How do
like
they
that.
know that?
I don't know.
How do you?
Because it was free. You didn't.
How do they know?
Yeah, you didn't.
How do they know how many people were there?
I don't know. I mean, that's an estimate, but even if it was only 4 million or 3.8 or something like that,
it could have been.
It's incredible.
200,000. They don't know.
Yeah, there were 200,000 in the 2 hours I was down there.
You're probably
More
right.
than that, actually. Yeah. But anyway,
but there are people that went down all weekend too. Like, man, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
I would have liked to do that seesaw thing. I kept seeing the seesaw.
I did walk past the seesaw.
Did you?
Yeah.
Man, I didn't get to see any of the stuff you saw. We were on different ends of the world. I didn't go to Covington. Did you go to the other side of the bridge?
I couldn't. That's where I went to the bridge.
Oh,
and
you
they
went to
closed
go
it down
cross
right
and
then.
it closed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So, but I saw some stuff, but it was like like 3 or 4 blocks wide, I think, and then really from Findlay Market to Covington.
Yeah.
So it was hard to see everything, and
Yeah.
that's why some people went down multiple times, and they actually suggested that. They said you're not going to see everything in a couple hours or whatever. So
well, even on Friday though, they didn't even have half of it working yet because
Oh,
they were
really?
scared of the rain. So there were some things they didn't turn on.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, cool concept. Couple things that look kind of neat, but
You know what?
Overall.
Do what they did couple years back. Get there, go to Music Hall, get the symphony out in front, put the light show out there, let people stand in front of Music Hall. They know everybody's gonna know where it's at.
Yeah.
It's right there. I don't have to walk 7,000 miles. I'm a fat kid, man. I don't need that. I'm not trying to exercise right now. You know what I mean? I'm trying to put on a little baby fat for wintertime.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So not really, but
You want a drink of my broccoli
no.
and kale smoothie?
Yeah, broccoli. Oh, so chocolate chip cookie dough, chocolate milk.
Yeah.
I'm chocolate chip cookie dough, white milk.
Okay, and I've had that because
That's my go-to.
Because-
my go-to.
how many times I've gone and gotten this? So many times they've made a mistake. They just don't
they
listen.
just don't listen to you say chocolate milk.
Yeah.
I don't like chocolate milkshakes. I need a vanilla milkshake whenever I have it. So yeah, chocolate chip cookie dough shake. By the way, Adam, this is great. Radio. Adam is brought in today a United Dairy Farmers. Is it a malt or a shake today?
It's a broccoli and kale shake.
Okay, so you got a brought in the shake. I'm proud of you. I could never get one that small.
I never get one this small, but
There's no chance.
I scarfed down a big fast food dinner before I came over here.
So we just topped it off.
So I just like
I gotta get a little healthy here.
Stop at the old Delhi UDF and
I gotta get healthy here. Let me get a small shake instead of my normal giant.
I just knew if I was gonna get a giant, I was gonna be like this on the podcast.
He is laying on his microphone, falling asleep. So that's yeah. I just noticed. I just saw that. Looks good. Anyway, I don't even, yeah. So what do you got going on? You told me you had a little something you wanted to share with the Nosebleed Sports Podcast family.
Next week, next Tuesday, before we even come back on,
Yeah.
the NBA season will have officially started.
Oh,
Because Tuesday is opening night. Next Tuesday is.
that's right. Okay.
So next week we will most likely do some sort of season preview. We will talk NBA basketball.
I may have a guest. We may have a guest call in. An NBA guest call in to the podcast and have a little conversation with him.
We may do that. So I don't have to tell you this, but my favorite season of any sport.
Anybody
NBA
that
basketball.
listens to the podcast knows that.
Right. So that starts in a week. Well, a few days ago, I turn on my TV, hit the guide, check out what's on, start just scrolling through. I'm like, you know what? See what's on NBA TV. Scroll down to where it is. I don't see it. That's weird. Hold on, let me turn my TV off, turn it back on, turn the set box. Back
unplug
off,
it,
back
wait 10
on.
seconds, plug
Yeah,
it back
yeah,
in. You know,
Yeah,
the old fixer.
Look, that's
Fixes
what IT
everything.
professionals make you do, so I might as well give it a shot. I tried it a couple times, and over the course of a few days, I determined that NBA TV just is flat out no longer on my television.
Okay.
So I go ahead and call my provider.
Yes. I would 100% give money to hear you on a conversation with your provider.
This is how it went. Hello, hello. This is Cincinnati Bell. What's your problem? Except there was an accent that I can't do.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. A few days ago I noticed that I pay for the sports package. I pay a little extra for the sports package. It includes NBA TV. That's really the reason that I paid extra for that. And I noticed a few days ago that I don't think that's available anymore. It doesn't look like it. Is that the case? Hold on. Let me check this out. 5-10 minutes or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why it takes that long to know
Holy
that.
cow. 5 or 10 minutes?
Maybe it wasn't that long. Maybe it was 5. But comes back on. Yeah. And then gives me some sort of explanation that really didn't say anything except, yeah, NBA TV is no longer available
What?
on Cincinnati Bell Optics. So I'm like, there was no warning. There was no letter.
They don't give you any.
There was no singing telegram. There was nothing about it. I didn't get a fax. They just took it off. They took off NBA TV. Really the biggest.
Did you cancel your subscription right away?
I haven't yet. No, I almost did that. But he started immediately, knew I was going to do that.
Yeah.
So immediately starting telling me, oh, well, in 60 days, your original deal that you signed on for is going to expire. So let's talk about some deals that you can get going here, for,
Sure.
to kind of extend that. Actually,
Well, I just told you the only reason I want this is for NBA TV. Why do I want to extend this?
the price that I was supposed to be signing up for originally was like $60 ago, and that lasted for like 2 months, pal. Okay, so I've been paying, and so he says something like,
Did you
"Oh,
say pal?
I didn't say pal, no,
Oh, that would have been awesome.
no, because that would have been a sarcastic pal, and I would have not. I just have
Just couldn't
way
feel
too
comfortable
much.
with yourself.
I
Yep.
can't do that to people that do that job. But anyway, I I say he goes on about something. Oh no, his big pitch was, oh, how do you communicate with your family? I'm like, what? I don't know, the phone, like the text or telephone call. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, if we add phone service to your service, instead of paying $160, you'll only pay $140 a month. Wait a sec. I pay like $135 right now. Or $140 maybe now, or something like that. And so in 2 months, you're saying my bill is going to be $160, or no, maybe you said $180 and it's going to be $160 or something. I'm like, you're telling me you want to give me a landline to use, and it's only going to be $140 a month,
I never.
and I don't get NBA TV? How could I possibly pass that deal up? I feel like I'm cheating you, sir. So I declined. And I politely declined, and I said, I think I just need to get on the website and take a look at the options and take my time and see what I want to do
Look at you.
from here on out. And so my plans for Saturday are to find which provider I want to go with next and call and cancel my subscription to my service from Cincinnati Bell.
I want to be on the phone call when you call to cancel your service.
We'll do a 3-way call. I'll give you
I
a
want
shout.
to be on that so bad because he is going to do everything he can to make you not, and you're going to.
And he's
listen.
almost going to get me.
I know he is. You're going to listen to everything. You're not going to cut him off and be like, "Nah, man, let's just." Clean break. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted. You know what I mean?
It's not you, it's me.
Ah, jinx. So yeah, listen. It is what it is. Let's just, we'll just call it quits. Cold turkey. It was fun. Adios. And you can't do that. You're not going to be able to do it. He's going to try to sell you on everything, and you're going to listen to it all. You're gonna think about staying.
Mm-hmm.
No, you won't. No, because if NBA TV's not in there, that's one thing that will keep you. That's one thing that will keep you pretty stern.
You're right.
You'll still listen to everything he has to say.
You're right about that as well. That's so scary that you know exactly how it's going to go down because you're 100% right.
I can hear the conversation. I'm gonna have a dream about that conversation tonight. Oh, that's great. So
I might fire up the board that I have at home.
There you go.
And call through there and record it.
Record that bad boy. Record it. We can make it. We'll make that we'll put that on the podcast.
They're clear about they're recording my phone call.
Just let them know.
I'll just let them know.
Just let them know. Hey, just to be clear with you, I am recording this phone call
as well.
Say as well, just so they know. Yeah, for quality assurance.
Quality assurance. And at the end of this phone call, if you could just hang on, we have a 2-minute survey for you, if you don't mind.
If you press 3 now, and after the call, we will send you over to a survey line.
So that was my big thing that has happened this week. Over the weekend, I realized it just seemed like NBA TV suddenly was not there. And it took me a few days to keep checking on it. Yep, it is not.
Definitely not there.
It is not there. And he told me that it is due to a lack of viewership or something like that. Like Cincinnati Bell is dropping it.
Oh, Cincinnati Bell's dropping it.
Yes. Because
it wasn't one of those things where the NBA TV just wanted too much money for them to keep it on.
No, that's what I figured it was. But no. Apparently, it's not enough viewership. Maybe he was making that up because he didn't really know the reason. I don't know, but
he was like, "What is MTV or what is NBA?"
NBA, yeah. Nah, I mean the whole world loves the NBA. China doesn't anymore, but the whole rest of the world does.
We're not getting into that. We're not. We had this conversation yesterday in the pre-show meeting, and we thought about it, and then we thought about
52 minutes into the podcast, we cannot start talking about that.
No, that's very true. Very true. All right, so speaking of 52 minutes into the podcast, I have one thing I want to say before we get to our comedy segment of the podcast, which we are going to get into some Mike Birbiglia. I always feel like I'm gonna get hung up on that name, but it's always comes out good. So we're gonna get into that, but before that, you talked about. I wrote something down while you were having your little spiel, and it's my favorite thing in the world. When you call technical support, right? Let's say your what is it? Your modem's not working, okay? And you call the IT support guy. Very first thing he says is, "Can you go to the plug, unplug it, wait 10 seconds, and plug it back in." Mm-hmm. Right? Do you think he actually thinks that's going to work, or is this a ploy by these people to just finally pull up the account and like actually find out what they need to tell you to do because they need an extra 10, 15, 20 seconds to get it all figured out? Has that ever worked? If it doesn't work now, and here's what I always tell them: I've already done that. I did that before you called because that's actually the only thing I know you're going to say to do. Mm-hmm. I've done it 3 times before I called you. Okay, well, can you do it with me on the phone? Are you kidding?
Sure, your magical voice.
You know what I do now?
What's that?
I say, done.
Yeah.
I didn't touch nothing. Yep, done. Did it. Still not working. Now, let's get to the real stuff. Give me some real stuff to do to this thing. Tell me a button to press. Let me do something else. Let me switch some wires around. Don't give me this unplug it. I am sick and tired of unplug it and plug it back in.
You know what? Honestly, sometimes that works. Sometimes unplugging and plugging back in works.
I agree. I completely agree. However,
when you've tried it,
when I've done it 3 times and I just told you I did it, don't tell me to do it with you on a phone.
It reminds me of the scene in Tommy Boy when he's like, he tries to order some wings and she's like, the kitchen's closed, and he's like, are you sure? And she's like, hold on, let me check. Yep, it's closed. That's like maybe my favorite scene in the movie. That woman should have won an Oscar for that 35 seconds she was in the movie. Anyway,
I love I love a good sarcastic response. I absolutely, unless it's, I do like them when they come at me too, because I can get a kick out of it. I realize, yeah, I did just
Yeah, that
ask
was a
that, didn't I?
stupid question. I
That was
asked.
really
Yeah.
dumb. But I love a good sarcastic remark. It's
Yeah.
just nothing beats it.
So
Nothing beats
did
it.
you feel like Mike Birbiglia? You think he's like a sarcasm comedian?
He's got this weird, like, dry. I always call it dry, sarcastic. Yeah, sarcasm. I like that. He's definitely got a little sarcasm, I'd say, in his stuff. So can I tell you something?
You can.
He beat up on that dude he beat up on that guy in the audience pretty bad. And I feel
He should have.
I feel
That guy was an idiot.
I feel like the guy in the audience just wanted him to know, like, they're just making fun of me because a girl beat me up. But he kept saying what he said, and I knew what that kid was trying to tell him. It just wasn't coming out of his mouth. And then he looked down at him again. He said, "Yeah, but it was a girl."
Yeah. He did. He wanted to be funny about it, and he had no idea how to do that, and he came off terrible.
He wanted to explain to Mike Birbiglia that he had been made fun of because he was beat up by a woman.
But that's not what he said.
That is not even close to what came out of his mouth either time he tried to tell the story.
And the problem
And we
is,
still never found out what he got arrested for.
that's the problem, is Mike Birbiglia asked him the question, why did you get arrested? And his answer for why he got arrested was, a woman cop arrested me and put me in a headlock. That's not a reason for getting arrested at all.
Oh, that was my favorite part of the whole thing. That and when he read the transcript of the YouTube video of whatever director that was.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That was good.
I liked it. It was good. He brings things back around. I've always liked that Mike Birbiglia. He's good. If you guys watched it, definitely suggest it. It was a good special, and it's a couple years old, but it was very good.
It's called Thank God for Jokes.
Yes,
Because he did a lot of jokes about God and the church, going
He
to
did.
church and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. He
Yeah.
grew up Catholic like we did.
Yep.
And that was one of my favorite parts was, I think he said it was his brother, growing up in church, and we went through the same services, but the Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ will come again.
Yeah.
And I think he said it was his brother made up, Christ has lied, Christ is in prison, Christ will come at 10. That was so funny, and he sings it just like the priest sings it or whatever.
And then when he brings it back around, he said no great song ever comes out of the church. Well, except for Tony, he had a good one or something like that, talking about his brother. That was good. That dude he's good, man. He does a good job of bringing things around.
Yeah, the callback.
I love that.
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think
in the
so.
comedy world, the callback. I call it bringing it back around. He brings the joke, starts a joke, gives it out, and then continues the story. And sometimes you can feel it coming, and you don't know how it's going to be delivered. And I enjoy that because I know he's getting closer. He's getting closer. How's it going to go? And it always surprises me.
Yeah.
It's never how I think it's coming.
Because he's very good at choosing the right words, and he does all the pauses and the inflections in his voice and stuff like that. He really has that timing stuff down where he really uses it to make
Right.
his jokes funnier, and he's really good at knowing when to like add an extra word to make it funny at the end, or to add like or keep it simple or whatever. Like he knows, he's very good at choosing the words.
Right.
And I'm sure that's years of or at least when he's writing these jokes, it's going through, like we talked last week, you go to the clubs and kind of work this stuff out over time, and then when you get to your special, then you have it polished.
You know exactly what you're doing.
Right. So he was really, really good. And yeah, and I really, really liked it a lot. I wouldn't put it up there with the top couple that we've seen, I don't think, but I certainly wouldn't put it near the bottom. It was
I put it's
good.
better than average. I mean, I think it was better than average. It was definitely it was up I mean, I give it, what are we doing? How are we doing the laugh scale? How are we gonna do this, man? I need to start giving.
Is it a ha? Is it a ha ha? Is it a ha ha ha?
Oh,
Is
so
it
it's a 3. So all I get is 3.
No, I don't know. Do we go 5 ha's or
Oh, five L's. LOL.
5?
No, never mind. That's like 5 losses. Never mind. I guess that doesn't sound good. Okay, I'm good with 5 ha's. How many ha's? Ha 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 ha.
I give it 3.5 ha's.
I was gonna say 3.5 to 4, but I think I'm gonna go with 4 ha's. I liked it
Okay.
a lot. I really enjoyed it.
It was good.
He made me laugh consistently.
Okay.
A lot of times I watch comedy specials and they're good. I like them, but I don't laugh out loud
Yeah.
through much of it. I love when I actually just like start laughing hard.
He made me laugh out loud. And you're right, especially if you're sitting there watching it by yourself. You might not, because laughter is kind of infectious. So,
Yep.
when you're around other people and other people are laughing, you tend to laugh more and laugh harder,
Yep.
laugh louder. And when you're by yourself, it's not that you think it's less funny. It's just that you're like,
laughing in your head.
Yeah, right. So that's what I did. I watched it by myself because I'm working on this thing now where I'm trying to do more things on my own. See, that's a callback. See that? But but anyway,
You could be a comedian.
it was a callback to something that wasn't funny. So no, I couldn't.
I would love to do that one time.
It was really funny. It was really funny. And Mike Birbiglia is a guy that I've liked for a long time, and I feel like it's been a long time since I've watched.
Yeah.
I mean, this came out in I think 2017 or something like that, and I'm sure I either watched it or I started watching it and didn't get through it because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't remember. So before that, it was a few years before that one, I think the last one he did. So it just felt like a long time, and he was funnier than I even remembered.
Right.
So I was pleasantly surprised, or I was happy to see that. It was very entertaining.
I went back and watched. They have YouTube video of him at the award show that they were talking about.
Yeah, the Gotham Awards.
Yeah, the Gotham Awards. He was was he just presenting an award, or was he the
I
host?
think he was the MC.
He was
I
the
think he was the
host,
host.
okay.
Yeah.
And he talks all about that in this special. And I went back and watched it. It is hilarious. He is like it. There was some really awkward parts in that whole thing, and you could tell he's feeling awkward and like flies through the joke real quick and then goes into something else. It's pretty funny.
It was really funny. He was good with the improvisational stuff too, like with the guy, that did the. Oh, okay. We had some technical difficulties. I was going to try to dial up the.
Oh, gotcha.
The nosebleeds.
Yeah,
Anyway.
with the guy who was in the stands.
With the guy who was in the stands, and even better with the people who came in late.
Yeah.
Those people that came in late, and then
And that was part of the joke.
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
was
yeah.
perfect. It was almost like he made them. He like told some people, hey, he told an usher, hold on to some people for me and send them in after I've already
I need
started.
him to be in like the first
Yep.
few rows so I can see him well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he even went back later and like
Kept talking.
when he was talking about.
We're talking about you.
Yeah, he was talking about late people and on time
Yep.
people
Yeah.
between he and his wife, and he kept referring to pointing to those people.
That was really funny too. That was good. He the whole thing. I liked the whole thing.
He had a bunch of yoga stuff and kind of the beginning of it. That was really funny. I thought.
Have you ever taken a yoga class?
I do yoga all the time.
Have you ever gone to a yoga class?
Um,
Not like watch a video on yoga in your house. Like I've done that.
Right.
But have you ever gone
Yeah,
to a yoga class?
Okay, I should rephrase it. I watch yoga videos all the time. I don't actually do the yoga. I just watch the video. I'm
What's
joking.
DDP?
I'm-
DDP's yoga?
TDP, yeah, I've heard that's
I
good
heard it's
stuff.
good
Actually,
stuff,
I've never
too.
done that one, but I do use YouTube and do just random yoga videos all the time. In fact, fixed my back the other day. It was awesome.
Nice.
But no, I don't think I've ever actually gone to a yoga class being taught by a yoga instructor in person.
You ever heard of hot yoga?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I
Where
did
it's
a-
like
I
100
attempted
something degrees.
I attempted a hot yoga class as my very first class ever.
How many times did you pass gas in there?
I never passed gas one time, but I almost passed out.
Passed out.
So my wife was doing this with a friend of hers. Can I tell the story? Do we have time to tell
course.
the story? Okay. So my wife was going with a friend of hers, and I was in Columbus, Ohio. I was staying out there that night. I wasn't going to be able to get back in time to. I kept telling everybody I could do hot yoga. I did P90X yoga. I can do this yoga. It ain't nothing. And So I surprised them and showed up in Clifton where they were at, and I was standing there when they got out of their cars to come in, and I was like, I'm here in my work clothes. The night before, got hammered drunk with customers, had little to no water all day long.
Oh my God.
Not thinking, I'm just like, it's yoga. How hard is this going to be?
It's
Dude.
stretching.
Dude. So first off, we get in there, right? We walk up. You know my luck, right? I put my towel down, not a towel. What's that thing? The mat down.
Yoga mat, yeah.
And I'm hanging out there, and the person, I'm one of two men that took this class, and the other one was this like 106-pound weirdo that had like just a Speedo on, and that was it. And he parked his mat directly in front of mine.
Oh man,
It was
that's something you would do to somebody else. Why did somebody
it
do
was
that?
karma, man. It was karma. That guy came up and parked his little mat there, and I looked over at my wife because you can't talk. Heaven forbid you make a sound. We're in the fetal position or the baby position or something weird. I look over at her, and she is trying so hard not to laugh. And this dude is stretching before we start stretching. Holy cow. That dude was
He's got to
getting
loosen up for
into-
yoga, man.
He was getting into it. Like, man, I saw every nook and crevice of
Oh.
his whole thing. Anyway, that was funny. But so I made it about 15 minutes, and then I just laid down on my mat because I thought I was gonna die because I had no water in me at all, and it's literally 97 or 100 degrees in there. I ended up just getting up, walking out, got up, walked out, went into the shower, turned the shower on cold. In my clothes in the studio, I was I was about to die. I thought I was gonna die,
Wow.
and just poured it all over me. And I sat there soaking wet. They were in there for another 45 minutes. I was soaking wet from the shower, and there's a towel in there, so I just grabbed some rando's towel.
Oh,
I don't know what it was.
gross.
Just grab a random
It
towel.
was
try
that
to dry.
Speedo dude's
Yeah,
towel.
well, I've already seen enough of it. Might as well.
He took a shower before yoga,
Oh,
too.
trust me, I already had his smell on me from being where he was. So dry off with some random towel, walk out as they're coming out, and they're like, "Holy cow, you're sweating like crazy still." I was like, "No, I just took a shower." They're like, "You in your clothes?" I was like, "I almost died. I almost died in hot yoga. Hot yoga almost killed me."
Interesting.
Yeah,
Hot
Drink
yoga
wa-
didn't almost
First
kill
off,
you.
Drink
Drinking-
water, and bring water with you.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were allowed to bring water to yoga.
Sure.
They got all kinds of crazy rules in those things. I was talking the very beginning when we got there. We're walking in. I got my inside voice is an outside voice. We're walking in like nothing's started yet. She's got some goober, music going on in the background.
Mhm.
But it's 10 minutes till the thing starts.
It's got to be it's a serene environment. I'm going to take a word out of your
Serene.
wife's book.
I like that.
When I walked in today. It's supposed to be
Serene and
serene in there.
I
yeah.
walk in, but
Peaceful.
the serenity hasn't started yet for another 10 minutes. I walk in and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for this. This is going to be so much fun. Oh man. And this lady was like, whoa, sir, I'm going to ask you to please not use any language while we are in the studio. And I'm like, what is going on? Whoa, I almost dropped a bad one there. What the heck is going on in here? I knew I was in a bad state. So anyway, I almost passed out doing hot yoga. I don't know where that came from, but
I've
it
never
was a
done
couple
hot
years ago.
yoga. I don't think
Don't-
I really care to.
don't.
If
No
it's-
point.
Yeah,
No point. It's just yoga,
in a real hot room.
really hot.
I think I'm. Yeah.
And you're going to end up with some rando weirdo with a Speedo in front of you. It wasn't a Speedo. They were like boxer briefs. But that was still it. I mean,
That's
I'm not
weird.
that was as far I exaggerated in the Speedo, but still boxer briefs, tighties or whatever they are. Anyway, so Mike Birbiglia,
So okay, we established
he had
he's
some
great.
good yoga comedy jokes out there.
He did. He had a lot of good stuff in there, and that's what it was kind of refreshing because, we did Nikki Glazer the week 2 weeks ago, right? And we talked about her whole entire set was about sex, right?
That was
I went to, and then the next week I was in LA and went to 2 comedy clubs, saw a bunch of comedians. So many jokes, and I hate
talked about that.
it's weird to say, but like all of the women comedians were kind of like that. Like I don't know what it is, and maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe
Got
men were doing
super
it
raunchy
too,
with it?
and I wasn't
And
noticing it as much or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like all of the female comedians talked about sex the entire time, and I'm like, what's going on? Is this like I don't.
it's the
I'm
new
not sure I
movement.
understand here. What talk about something else. So anyway,
Well, there's nothing else that men understand.
that's true. They're probably playing down to our
100. I
to our
guarantee
dumb
that's
brains.
what it is. I guarantee that's what it is.
But I want something. I want to change
You need
that.
substance.
I want
need
something.
substance.
I just want something different. I'm just getting a little worn out with the whole.
All right,
with
so
that
let's
whole topic.
let's get away from the women then. What are we going to do next?
Well, no, I mean not necessarily. I just felt like that's just like such a big thing right now, and it's just I don't know. I was just saying that because it was refreshing to see because Mike Birbiglia did jokes on so many different things.
Right, and that might have been part of the best part of it too. Is he's talking about being a Catholic raised and all that. He doesn't cuss in his comedy very often, and then at the end,
yeah,
anyway, all right,
ripped him out.
yes,
Okay, so let's forget about the whole. It doesn't matter what topics we think these people are going to do, but so what we want to watch for this next week to talk about next week. I don't know if you have any suggestions, but I know looking on Netflix, there's a comedian named Dion Cole who just had one come out in the last
Yes.
week. He was.
let's do that one.
You want to do that one?
I would love that.
that was easy.
First off, I love Dion Cole. Number
Okay,
one.
good.
Number
You already know
two.
who he is. I like
number
that.
two. I watched it when it first came out because I like him that much.
Oh, nice.
And I'm just gonna go thumbs up to start it. It was pretty good. There was some slow, weird parts, but there was he had some really good ones too.
See, I've seen clips. I've never seen like a full special of Dion Cole. I've seen several clips from him being in clubs and stuff like that. But he was like one of the comedy writers on Conan for a few years.
Yep.
And so he would make appearances and do skits and stuff like that too. And that's when I first found out about
Yeah.
him. And I thought he was funny. And
He's been in some movies too. He's been in quite a few movies, and he was
he's the new Old Spice guy in the
yeah,
Old Spice commercials too.
Exactly. He's the ripped dude in the Old Spice commercials.
Yeah. So
And
okay.
He's jacked.
It's called Dion Cole.
Old boy's
Yeah, yeah.
jacked.
Yeah, he kind of. I feel like when he was on Conan, like
He's in
you could
Blackish
kinda
too.
see-
He
Oh, yeah.
He's got a recurring role in Blackish too.
okay. So okay, Dion Cole. It's called Cold Hearted, and that's the one we'll do. I don't even have to go through the rest of this list. We'll keep
like
these other ones around.
just because I've already seen it. But unless you want, what were the other ones you got?
One that I honestly don't really want to watch, but I will because you mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Jeff Dunham. I don't think he's funny at all, but
There's something about that guy.
It's
man.
been a long time. Yeah, I mean, there's something about him. He's really funny if you're in your 70s or older. But
I'm telling you, like that's how. See, that's what I was telling you. Like that's the persona of the old dude that this dude gets. But I'll come out of the closet, man. I like him.
Cheesy,
I come
man.
out of
I
the
don't
closet.
know.
I'm a Jeff Dunham. I'm coming out of the Jeff Dunham closet.
you did, and I apprete it. And that's why I
got no problem. Hey, I'm comfortable
wanna-
with my comediality.
I wanna. We all have our own. It's comediality. Anyway, I haven't really ever liked the guy, but I'm willing. He has a new special. I'm willing to give it a shot. If you want to do that at some point, there's another Mo Gilligan is another newer guy that
That's all over Netflix, man. They're
Yeah.
pumping that like crazy. He's the British guy, right?
Is he British? I don't even
Yeah.
know. I've
Yeah.
seen it the last couple of weeks or whatever, and I haven't watched it yet. But he's not somebody I was familiar with before that. John Mulaney, John Mulaney guy at all? John Mulaney is he was a writer on SNL for a long time, and he's been doing stand up for a pretty long time now. He looks very, very young. He's like our age.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
yeah. This guy, he's good. I like that guy a lot.
I like John Mulaney.
He's
a
got
lot.
a new one.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a new one. I think the newest one was from last year, but
He's got kind of a Mike Birbiglia delivery, kind of a deal.
yeah,
The way he delivers
he's
them,
got
yeah.
he's
the
got
pauses and
yeah.
and that.
and he's very well spoken, and he's very articulate, and he's kind of almost maybe has a little hint of femininity in there. That's probably
Sure.
not a word.
He's
but
always got a suit and tie on.
He does. He dresses very well. He's a skinny little dude. Like he and Mike Birbiglia both, I feel like, are two of like maybe three people in the whole world that I could possibly beat up. Um, but anyway, I love John Mulaney. So that's another one. And there are two specials that two comedians combined on to do like shows, like they were like Broadway shows kind of. And I loved all four comedians, especially three of the four. But there were two sets of two comedians that teamed up and did like performance shows, like not necessarily stand-up shows,
like
but
skits.
yeah, kind of, yeah. And I loved both of those shows a lot, and so I was gonna even see if you wanted to do one of those.
Who is it?
So, but
what
we
is
get,
it?
well, one of them it's called Oh Hello, and it's John Mulaney and Nick Kroll. And it's like a spin-off from Nick Kroll had a show on Comedy Central for a couple seasons or whatever, and it was like a recurring skit they did on there, and they made it a Broadway show, and they did it, and they were playing these two like old Jewish guys from Brooklyn, I think, or something like that, and they did a whole show, super super funny, and I really like both of those guys. And then another one was just from last year, maybe even earlier this year, was Steve Martin and Martin Short.
I heard, yeah.
Did a thing
Yeah.
together, and that was awesome. I'm a huge Martin Short guy. So anyway, that was, and those are two like comedy legends. So and they did a show together, and it was really really
Yeah.
funny. So anyway, if we want to do one of those at some point down the road, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, that's fine too. But we'll do Deion Cole.
All right, let's do
Cold-Hearted this
Deion
week.
Cole. That sounds good. So Deion Cole, Cold-Hearted. We're going to next week. I'm going to see if I can scrum up a guest for us to have on, and hopefully I will have access to my phone. Will allow Facebook Live to record for more than 8 or 10 seconds.
I should have just dialed it up on mine, and if we didn't last, we didn't last.
No idea why. It's no big deal. We'll be, as always, we'll be on Facebook Live. We'll try to be on Facebook Live next week, 10:30 p.m., and then on every other podcast platform Thursday morning, iTunes, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast. I do this every time. Spotify. It's wherever you listen to it. If we're not there, let us know, and we'll get ourselves on there. So, Adam, I had fun today.
So did I.
It was a good one.
That was nice. Yeah.
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 It was good. All right. Well, in that case, until next week, don't forget to turn your headlights on.